Everyone, welcome back to Window Chats with Robyn, the Instagram live podcast where I sit by my window and chat with very interesting people. Available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, IGTV, iHeartRadio. That's a new one. I discovered it. A little clip on Facebook. It's everywhere, guys. You should watch it just in case you can't get it live. And that's my self-promotion for the day. I'm so excited because today we have Kerry Griffin, and he was my instructor. Ooh. Which one? I want to say level E at Second City. That sounds right. He'll verify. And so it's gonna be fun. Oh, okay. And he's gonna join, or I'm gonna invite him to join. This is the hardest part. If it works, great. If not, we try again. So let's see if I can invite him in. Da, 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 da. Okay, here we go. Sending. Ooh. Oh, I don't know. What did I do here? There's something weird to my hair. Okay, it's fine. It's okay. It's a choice. Send request. Now, the question is, will it work? Will it work? Da, da, da. I feel like everyone's just as invested as I am, but I'm nervous because it's honestly a 50-50 chance of success at this point. So we'll try again. Maybe not. Maybe he's in and I just can't see him. Kerry, where are you? Da, da, da. I don't know. Maybe it's oh no, he joined. Okay. Now let's try again. Invite him in.
Hello.
Oh my God, you're here. Oh,
I'm here.
Hi. It didn't tell me you joined yet. Hi.
Hello. I know. I just clicked the button. It was so fast.
Oh my gosh, that was thrilling. You did it. That's the hardest part. Okay.
I don't know how much light I've got, but I'm here. Sorry.
That's fine.
What's that?
I said, that's fine. I can see your face. You look exactly like your headshot, as you had just said.
Thank you. Of course. I tell everybody that.
I know, but I'm telling you, actually, Connor wasn't the worst one. There was a friend of mine named Paul, and he completely, he just grew a ton of facial hair, which wasn't on his headshot. And I'm like, hello, sir. I've never actually met you in person, so this was a shock. So, Kerry, thank you for being true to your headshot.
Well, it's true to me like 8 or 9 years ago, I think. So it's probably time to update them, but I'll take it.
That's impressive that you haven't updated it in 8-9 years. You're one of those actors that can do that.
I guess. I mean, it's also, I used to update it more, but I think, because I'm, like many actors, I'm never happy with my own headshots. So I finally got some that I like. So I'm like, I'm never taking headshots again as long as I can last.
It's hard to explain to anyone that's not an actor. I think getting a headshot is one of the worst things because your headshot is your selling point. That is how people choose to audition you. So you go, okay, what clothes do I wear? How do I move my face? It's just, and then it's, okay, be you, but then be this character you. And I go, ah.
Oh yeah. And it's the smiling that always gets me because you want to smile, but not really smile and smile with your eyes, but not your mouth. Exactly. That's perfect. So if you hit the right shot, then you stick with it. But I know my agent luckily hasn't been looking at them too closely lately and saying it's time to update them. But I feel if you look closely, I've got a few more, what do you call these? Not wrinkles, lifelines. Is that what they are?
I think it adds character. It's
perfect.
When you audition and if anyone questions you, go, excuse me, I went full method for this role and I aged 5 years. So that's, you just kind of justify it like that.
Well, it's funny because the stuff I'm getting called in for, of course, has changed, even though my headshot hasn't. But because I feel like 10, 15 or more years ago, I was always going in for cool office guy or young dad and all that fun stuff. But now every audition I get is like, asshole lawyer, evil CEO. I'm like all the old villain white guys is really all the parts I'm going for now.
I would not have guessed that actually. Because I know you, and again, this was the funniest thing. So Kerry is my instructor for Second City for it was level E, right? I thought one of the levels, who knows?
Yes, level E. I think it was level E.
That sounds right. And I thought you were great. And I always assumed that the Second City instructors, they're actors as well. And it was the whole class, I'm like, where do I know him from? And then after class, I'm like, oh my God, Kerry is the insurance guy that I see during every single commercial.
See, you're obviously watching the right channels, Robyn. The channels
Obviously.
that are geared towards that demographic, which is older people. Because my mom is the same way. She always sees. My mom has gotten to the point where she calls to complain that she's seeing me too much. Because she's like, I'm just trying to watch my movie, and every commercial break you come on and yell at me.
Well, look, no offense, Kerry. It's a long commercial. It's when I know your commercial, I'm like, okay, well, here's 5 minutes of my life I'm not getting back. Like, I know
It only feels like 5 minutes. I mean, it's a good minute. Maybe I think there might be a 2-minute version even. But because you don't know what you don't know about your insurance coverage. It's really important.
Do you have Manulife insurance?
It's not Manulife, first of all, Robyn.
I thought it was.
No.
Cover Me, Manulife? No? What was it?
That's Jim Annan, another Second City alumni who advertises now for Manulife.
Oh my God. All I know is all I'm listening to is your voice. And honestly, okay, because I'm a physiotherapist, it's the way you say physiotherapist. I love it. So that's the only thing I'm actually listening for. And then I see the yellow and green and I just assumed it was Manulife. But that's so funny.
Oh, it is green. Yes. No, it's Sure Health from Green.
All right, white and green. Sure Health. Okay, there was a
It is. I will say that I'm not here as a spokesperson for Green Shield, though that I am. But they are the only non-profit insurance company in Canada, I believe. I think I'm saying that correctly. They're not for profit. So
I got the name wrong, so I clearly have no idea about this insurance.
There you go.
Yes, and
exactly.
Wait, so here's a question. Do you only accept commercials that you believe in?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I mean, if I want to sound like I'm very moralistic, I would say yes. But I've never turned down a commercial, though I've never also been cast for a commercial where I was even questioning the product, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would. I'm trying to think of something I would turn down. I mean, if it was like, the only thing I might turn down is if it was like, not that they do commercials for this, if there was like a pro-life commercial or something super conservative, or I don't know, anti-LGBT, homophobic commercial.
But here's the question. You say that, and yet you're playing the bad guy in all your auditions. So, is that different? Commercial versus film, I think is up. Yeah.
If I'm playing a bad guy, presumably the bad guy is going to get his comeuppance in some way.
Oh, true.
Or maybe, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know if I've played.
No, because I'm looking at your face now. I'm like, oh my God, you could play the bad guy, and I hadn't seen it before. I'm like, yes, you are totally. Hints of evil in you. Okay.
Yeah, it's not even, I mean, I guess sometimes it's bad guy, but it's more the authority figure I tend to play. Like even, in Schitt's Creek, I was a cop, and then The Expanse, I was like this not evil, but this starship captain who was like being really authoritative and kind of being an asshole, I guess, and things like that. So it's like, yes, I'm suddenly the authority figure, which I'm absolutely not in real life. I mean, you had me as a teacher. I was never in a... I'm not the
You are so, oh my gosh, you make everyone cry. You're
true.
The friendliest teacher, just everyone's great. I'm like, oh, Kerry, that's hilarious. Oh gosh, I loved it. But I love that you brought up Schitt's Creek as well, because again, I was watching my Canadian shows. I'm like, wait a minute, is that Kerry? No. And so, and you were with, oh my God, Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, a couple of young up and comers in the.
Yeah, they're new to the biz.
Yeah, I took them under my wing and really showed them the ropes a little bit. Yeah, that was pretty cool, especially as somebody coming from a Second City background and everything. I mean, they were the ones, among others, that I watched. That's how I found out about Second City. I was watching SCTV as a kid or as a young person, and seeing them. And then, 20 or 30 or more years later, suddenly I'm working with them. It was only one scene, but it was a fun scene to do, yeah.
That I was watching you and I was nervous for you. Kerry, you're in the scene. This is such a cool scene. Like, just, it doesn't even matter. You had a speaking line with these two.
Oh, yeah. I got to.
I don't know how you did it.
I got to, give a glare. My favorite part was, because, they don't really overly direct the scene. It was also directed by Dan Levy, Eugene Levy's son. And they don't overly direct it. So the scene started with me and Eugene Levy kind of walking in from off camera because I'm playing a cop who just found him naked in the creek. so I'm bringing him back to Catherine O'Hara and telling her about what happened. And there's this one moment when I say something kind of snarky about finding him naked, and I just turned and gave a look to Eugene Levy, like a glare, and he kind of looks back at me sheepishly, and I was just like, wow, I got to glare at Eugene Levy and got a reaction out of him, and it was really fun.
Oh my God. I was so excited when I saw that. I'm like, oh, I know him. Oh my God, that's so cool. I think I definitely did message you like, I just saw you. And you're like, who is she? Calm down, stalker. I'm like, I just get so excited when I see people, especially in scenes like that. I go, well, it's not even like you were in that whatever random scene and then you're in Schitt's Creek. It's like you were with the big guns.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Apparently, I even made the montage of like circle that season 6 highlights or whatever it was. I don't know. So
it was a funny scene. Like he was doing his thing and you caught him. Oh my God. I'm like oddly proud of you, even though I don't really know you. I just feel like I know you from being instructed by you. Do you have any current projects in the works?
That's the sad part. No.
Okay, that's okay. Well, that's why we're here. We're putting your name out there. I thought the struggle was real. Like your resume isn't good enough. So
that's exactly right. I need to build it. I'm trying to think of current projects. No, I mean, there's not a ton going on. I mean, I'm auditioning for the odd thing here and there because every show or movie needs an asshole at some point. So I'm doing a lot of self-taping here and there. My main project is I'm moving next month, so that's been.
Oh, you're physically moving. Oh, that is exciting.
Physically moving my whole body as well as everything else I own. So that's I sold my condo and I bought a house out of town. So I don't know if I'm having a midlife crisis or it's just pandemic related or it's just time for a life change, but that's what's happening.
I think that's the thing. And again, I know I'm trying to move too. It's just, I feel like I need a change and there's only so much I can do. So let's just find a new place and make a new life.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's so exciting.
It's exciting.
Don't say where you're moving. I learned that you shouldn't say things online like that. So I'm excited that you're moving, but I don't want details because you never know who's watching. And then next thing you know, you have a housewarming gift from someone that saw this live and you go, how did you know?
I'm not against receiving random gifts, Robyn, so that's okay.
Oh, okay.
If you want to send me housewarming gifts, that's perfectly
I'll send you insurance. See, this is what I used to think, naive child that I was, that if you do a commercial, whatever the commercial is, you get the product that you're advertising for free. That's what I thought.
That doesn't happen. It only happened to me once, and it was one of the very first commercials I ever did, and it was for Javex. And I got like 2 big jugs of bleach on the shoot because they had a whole bunch of it there, and they were like, "Take some," and I was like, "Sweet, free bleach." So that time I got some, and that I think is honestly the only time I've got free stuff. Like I did a commercial for KFC years ago, and I was like, "Come on, give me some KFC." Nope, nothing. Tim Hortons.
Well, did you eat on set, or were you just in the commercial?
The KFC one, I was just in the commercial. There was no eating. Eating at commercials is the worst too. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I'm very grateful I haven't. I'm terrified. Yeah, I did it wasn't even for a food product, the one I had to eat the most. It was an insurance commercial, oddly enough. This was years ago before Green Shield. It was some American insurance company. This is like 15, 20 years ago. And it was just me and another guy in a diner eating hamburgers, talking about insurance, I guess. But we literally had to be eating burgers all the time through the takes. And they had like the spit bucket kind of thing there beside me, but because you're eating and chewing the whole take, it's hard not to eat and chew a mouthful of food without swallowing some of it, even though I'm trying to spit it. This is a great, disgusting conversation to have.
No, you say, because I'm picturing already some of my callbacks where I didn't want to eat the food, but I really wanted to book the role. Yeah. It is very hard to not swallow because I tried my best not to. And it didn't work.
Exactly. So over the course of the day, I mean, I'm sure I ate like 15 hamburgers in total there. And like, I remember we started in the morning. So again, it was probably like 8 o'clock in the morning. Here, eat some hamburgers. And then they broke for lunch or whatever in the afternoon. And I was like, I don't want any lunch. I've just been swallowing.
I was just wondering, what is lunch? Do you get a salad just to kind of break up the meat?
I don't think I ate anything. I think I drank water to try to flush burgers out of my system.
It's like all this sodium, we have to balance it.
Exactly.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, so eating, there was another one I had to eat something on. I can't remember. No, it wasn't even eating. It was the other thing about food commercials. I did a commercial for the Keg restaurants years ago. I don't even think we had to eat. We were just getting, the waiter or waitress was just bringing the food, and we were all looking so excitedly at these steaming steaks or whatever. But that one, we couldn't eat the food because, of course, the food, they were making it to look perfect and just sliced and spraying it with things and who knows what. Half of it was probably fake, but if you ever shoot a commercial involving a restaurant or food, the food is the star. They don't give a shit what the actors look like. They're like, does the steak look good? Does the butter melting so perfectly? Great. Oh, the actor looks like shit or said their line wrong? Doesn't matter. The food looked good. That's a good take.
I love seeing behind the scenes when they dress up the food and this is what they actually use instead of. I love that stuff. It's never the actual food though. So I know, again, as a younger, I say as a child, this was like a couple of years ago before I got disillusioned, when I would see when I go, wait, why is my food not looking the way it did on the commercial? Right. I wanted it to be bigger or have more bubbles or whatever they advertise it as. And I go, oh, because that's just not healthy how they make that look cool. Got it.
No,
okay.
Exactly.
I don't want glue or whatever on my food. Noted. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Little lacquer. Okay. So everyone watching, don't eat food if it's pretty. That's exactly. on set.
Eat the disgusting looking ones. They'll also get very angry with you if you eat the wrong, because if you eat the good looking food that's not supposed to be eaten, you just ruined. It took them hours to put that together, and so they'll literally be like, "Do not touch this steak" or whatever it is, and then put it in front.
It's a lot of work. I mean, I never thought a job would be food stylist, which is a thing.
It totally is.
So cool. I don't know. Like, do you go to fashion school and then decide I want to work with food instead, or is there actually a program for a food stylist?
Oh, there must be. That's a great question. Is it specifically food? But I think, yeah, I was going to say the people that make the food look good probably make other things look good. Maybe it's just a general product display class. I don't know.
Or maybe it's like a chemist and they have all this knowledge on how to kind of work with molecules and whatever. I don't know. Fancy words. Okay.
Figuring out
atoms.
What looks like other things, because I've seen those videos too, like you were just saying, where it's like this ice cream commercial, but that's not ice cream. It's little weird styrofoam balls painted with this and sprayed with that. So they have to figure out what looks like what.
I don't want a food stylist. If anyone's watching, I don't want anyone to respond. I like the speculation. Exactly. I like guessing. This is the part that I enjoy the most. No real answers.
Maybe they're all just self-taught. They all just sit at home making things look like other things, or making food look good.
Yeah.
It's just a hobby for them,
Hobby turn. If you can make money from your hobby, why not?
Oh my God, yes. That's what I've been trying to do for 40 years, but
Did you always, okay, here's a question. This is like a fake serious question, but curiosity, because I find you quite funny. But did you always know you were funny? No, you're not funny.
No, I'm not really. I mean, I guess I am. That's a great question. I was never like really the class clown or anything like that. Like I'm really kind of introverted, so I was never like I'm gonna, be goofy. I think with my family, like around my family, yes, I'm the one who tends to go for jokes and try to be the funny one, and they love it. But no, I never felt like I was the funny one at all. And I don't know if I set out to get into comedy. I kind of just took an improv class on a whim kind of thing, because I thought it might be fun and interesting. I mean, I wanted to explore something creative, but I didn't. Are you
the person that goes to improv, you want to get better at business, and then all of a sudden you realize this is what happens? All the intro improv classes I just want to get more comfortable public speaking or get better at business, and then now you're a comedian. Is that your journey?
No,
I like to make it up.
I wanted to be an actor or get into something related to that. But I didn't know what it would entail. But I didn't know, I wasn't specifically like, I want to do comedy or I want to do this. I just thought improv looked like it was fun. but honestly, I think when I took my first improv class, I don't think I'd ever even seen an improv show, to be honest. I think I saw SCTV and I knew of Second City, so it was like that. In my head, probably SCTV was what I thought improv was, but now it's sketch comedy, obviously. But I think I just I think the reason I stuck with improv more than anything was when it was one of the first things I ever did that I was like, oh, I kind of want to do this, like as opposed to any other classes or schooling I did where I was like, oh, I have to do this because it's what I'm supposed to do, but I don't really want to do this.
Yeah. I mean, that the logic is there. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of, I don't know, I kind of fell into it and then I just kept doing it. Never know, like, again, you have to kind of keep doing it because you want to do it, not because you expect improv to turn into some kind of career or a job or anything like that. And everything that's come for me after, I mean, I guess it's all built off of improv. It hasn't all been improv related. But I had no master plan or never set out that, okay, here's my career goals or here's this or that. I was just like, oh, improv is fun. I'm going to keep doing that.
But you know what? That's probably, I find the people that are like, let's see what happens and have that open mindset, positive attitude are the ones that go the farthest. They're, we'll see. Take it one day at a time.
Sure, yeah.
Versus me and my, like, here's my master plan. Why am I not achieving my goals? Dear God. So that's good for you, Kerry.
Thank you. I do set, my only goals that are set out are like, today I'm going to try to clean the bathroom. There, that's a goal. And then, or do laundry. I set those goals. Just little achievable goals that I can do.
Cleaning the bathroom. That's always on the list that gets pushed off. I'm like,
for sure. I'm not saying I do that too regularly, but every once in a while, I'm like, okay, got to clean the bathroom.
Yeah, you should probably clean. No, yeah. Start naming the little dirt piles. Yeah, I should probably clean that. Yeah.
But then if you wait too long, you grow attached to them.
That's the thing, right? You name them, you're attached. Exactly.
Like, oh, good morning, Joel. You've grown.
Yeah. Look at you. You're so small. They grow up so fast. And
and then they have kids. They have families of their own. They start
exactly. And who are we to dismantle the family like that?
Exactly.
This is amazing logic. I'm going to tell my husband. This is why I'm not cleaning.
There you go.
They are.
It's perfect.
They've colonized. They've made their own little corner, and we're going to respect that. Everyone has their space in here.
Exactly. This is a place for respect and openness. You can't just shut them down.
Never thought of that logic before. I really enjoy that.
Especially if it's an actual life form. Not that you want things growing, but
oh no.
Like I went, my family has a cottage up north, and I went up there last weekend to open it up because we shut it down for the winter, so it's not winterized. So this was the first time I've been up. Anyone has been up there since September or October, and so the power gets shut off and the water shut off and everything. So I'm turning everything on, and the fridge had life forms all unto itself within it. It was, somebody had left conveniently a box of blueberries in the fridge for 6 or 8 months. So I only know it was blueberries because the label was still there. Otherwise it was this, I'm trying to think of what it looked like. It almost looked like a weird Beanie Baby, just a fuzzy ball. I'm not saying it was cute, but...
So these are a lot of visuals you're throwing out in this live today. And I'm like, I can picture it, and you keep adding descriptive words that make it worse. I'm like, I've seen a moldy blueberry, but 6-8 months worth, I'm okay to not picture that.
It wasn't just a single blueberry. This was a solid...
Oh, no. This whole pack of...
kilogram of blueberries or something. That had formed its own little colony inside the fridge. So, I mean, I felt kind of bad having to throw. I couldn't let it thrive there any longer, though.
Yeah, but you didn't name it, so it's okay.
No, I did not. I did not name it.
As soon as you give something a name, it's done. It's there. It's not leaving.
Yeah, exactly. It's personalized. It's become part of your life then. It's like your child. I don't have any children, so I have to name my mold piles. They're my offspring.
Well, but you do have a cat, right? Is the cat going to get jealous?
Oh, he might. I don't know. That's a good question. Although he creates his own little dirt piles too, so...
Oh, okay. Well, you guys have your own dirt thing going on. This is the most, I love this randomness that is the conversation right now. Like, not even going to question you about all your acting experience. Let's discuss dirt piles.
Let's talk about dirt and mold. Yeah, that's the biggest part of my life these days is discovering new dirt piles, expanding the family.
Oh, but then you'll have to move in a month, and all the dirt piles, they'll be
But see, then I
for
can
the next
find,
tenant.
what's that?
It's for the future tenant. That's very sweet of you.
I can leave I can leave things for the next owner, and I'll find a whole new future mold piles at my new place. I'm sure. I'm hoping it'll be free.
I hope so for you. I really. Oh my God. I love talking to people that do improv comedy. It's whatever. It's like the most laid back. Here's how you get into the live and we'll see what happens. It's just like the most relaxed versus, oh my God, I'm terrified. So I just love this vibe that you're putting out there. Thank you, Kerry.
I know, and I keep seeing, so-and-so's joined the chat, so-and-so's there.
Oh, you can say hi to
There's
people.
actually watching this? Wow.
I know. I think you're very interesting. I'm going to adjust this height because I'm like not feeling it. There we go. Now it's like a better angle, looks down. It's more slimming on my face. Okay,
that's
now
perfect.
better.
Yeah, I feel very shadowed.
You know, when it's just like, it's straight on, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I had a lot to eat yesterday and it's early. Okay. It's just like, it needs to be the perfect cake. Now we're good. We're good.
But you've got a better background. It's my yellow wall background that makes me look.
Yeah, well, Kerry, there's tape here. Okay, so this is, I taped and nailed it into the wall. All right. So when we move, there's going to be some holes. It's going to...
I've done that many times. Because obviously, yes, in the last year, it's been all self-tapes and Zoom auditions and things. So I I've had sheets taped to the wall. I've used curtains on the window. I've used all sorts of things. And
well, see, I find that a bed sheet was way too heavy. I bought this whatever cheap sheet off of Amazon. Like it's not even a bed sheet per se. Like it's a useless sheet, but they charge $30 for it because they can. So
it's like thinner than a bed sheet, or what?
It's it's very, very thin. I would never use it for anything other than wall.
Yeah, exactly. Because I had a hard time getting my bed sheet to stay on the wall. Like I didn't want to nail it in or anything. So I was like using various forms of tape and duct tape and this tape, and it would stay up for a little while, but it would start to fall. Well,
I would have mid self tape. It would fall, and I'd be like, "That was my best take," and I hate you blanket. So then I just found this because I can't, because I don't have any other. I just have a plain white wall, and it really doesn't go with. I'm trying to figure out what goes with my like skin tone.
What color are you for a backdrop? I know. Because I found like this. I don't like the yellow back. I find darker backgrounds for me work better. Like blues and grays is what.
But here's the problem. All I own are blue T-shirts. So I am. Exactly. I'm like, okay, here's my black T-shirt again, or my maroon, I guess. I don't own other clothes other than blue. So I have no clothes to audition in. So I'm like, all right.
Then the problem you have, Robyn, is you need to expand your wardrobe, not your backdrop.
Hey, no, that's a whole other story. Dear God, I hate shopping and I don't understand clothes. So it's very confusing.
You need a personal shopper. See, I was going to say I love shopping. That's not true, but I do like buying clothes. I try not to because it's easy to spend way too much money. I read there was something that somebody posted on Facebook. I think it was like a stat or a meme that said something like the average person, it must have been an average, which sounds ridiculous, buys like 68 items of clothing a year or something. And I'm like, who buys 68? Do you buy that many items of clothing a year? No. I buy maybe 3 or 4. I mean, I buy, I don't know, the odd T-shirt here and there.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how old some of my clothes are, but they still say like middle school on them. So wore that shirt the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, hello.
If you can fit into things you wore in middle school, then hey, more power to you.
I don't know if there's not holes in it. I think you should keep it. That's my theory.
I have stuff I'm not wearing anything with holes now. I was just checking, but I have so many T-shirts. And if anybody can tell me how this happens, because I've talked. Oh, you know what? I do have a hole in the bottom of my T-shirt right there. But I always get the holes at the very bottom of the T-shirt, you know. And I can't. And I was talking to somebody else who has that same problem, and we were trying to surmise why our T-shirts get holes. Like they literally get torn up right just above the bottom hem. So I can tuck it in or hide it under things. It's fine. We were contemplating that maybe it's belt buckle related. You keep buckling your belt. Or
interesting.
I think we both have cats. We were like, is it cats kneading on or chewing on our clothes? I don't know. I can't figure it out.
Both are plausible. I believe both of them. Both seem like plausible. Yeah.
One of those unsolved mysteries.
Oh, there's a delay. Classic Instagram. Okay. We were doing well. Okay.
We are doing well. Hey, my friend John just joined from Vancouver. Hey, John.
There's also a delay if they respond, so he might say hi 2 minutes later, We'll see.
No, fair enough.
It's quite fun. Okay.
He's probably
I love this. That's fair. If you know, yeah, you can always shout out to people just to say hi. Hi to everyone. Actually, thank you all for still watching. We're randomly talking. This is Kerry, if you're just tuning in now. Just very random.
Mesmerizing television.
Look, honestly, I don't know. I don't even know if it's entertaining, but I just like hearing your views on things. I think that's quite funny.
Oh, thank you. I don't get a lot of that. I mean, I don't have a lot of people in my life that are like, tell us your views, Kerry.
I also have to say that I really respect that you're not throwing any shade towards Connor, because he had some words for you.
Oh my God.
So
I was thinking that today. I was like, I should say something about Connor.
Well, he had some thoughts, but it was funny. So I'm like, Kerry, you're being a grown-up. Honestly, it was a couple weeks ago, and it was all, if people don't know, there's a fake rivalry. Like, it is, right? I have to preface, these are just comedians razzing each other. Is razzing a word that's still used? It is now. So there you go.
Razzing's good.
Yeah. Little razzmatazz.
I loved working with Connor at Second City. I directed him in a mainstage show there. His best work was simply, his best work was his bat suit. That was really when he did his best work, in tight spandex with strange wings on the back. He played a bat. That was his whole goal. He came in. That was his best premise. His best idea was like, Kerry, I want to play a bat. I was like, great. And then next thing you know, he's leaping around like a bat.
The animal work is real.
The animal work is real. He was a dancing bat too. I'm being half. I feel like I'm half insulting him and I'm half complimenting him, because it was.
It's just, I wish there was, I don't know if that was filmed. If it was, I need to see this.
100%. Okay. 100%. There's footage out there of Connor Thompson being a bat.
Because you know what the thing is too? I love, and I know even when I was trying to pitch ideas, and you're, oh yeah, Con, okay, let's pitch our premise. I'm like, that is the hardest part. So for someone to come in going, I'm being a bat, we'll figure it, like, just, this is what it is. I respect it. And I'm also good. Yeah.
And that's because my job as I found as a director, one of the hardest, not the hardest thing, but one of the biggest things was just not shooting down ideas because they sounded stupid right out of the gate and going, well, let's wait and see what happens. Because I could have easily said, Connor, shut up about the bat, but I was like, I'm curious enough to see what happens, and the bat scene ended up being a lot of fun. You never know what's going to work in front of an audience or not, because there's also many other ideas that got pitched to me where I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest idea ever in the history of comedy. And then we'd try it in front of an audience and be like, wow, that sucked.
And I find that I love hearing, I don't love that something sucked, but I love hearing that even if it's the greatest idea, it doesn't always resonate. And that's why comedy is so tricky.
Oh yeah. And especially when you're doing stuff like creating a Second City show is all about trying ideas and failing. I remember somebody, when I was coming up through Second City, I remember somebody saying, the biggest thing you have to learn when you are working on a Second City show is that this is classic showbiz language, but you're going to have to learn to go out there and shit the bed night after night. Because you just got to accept that, wow, this is going horribly. And there's nothing you can do about it except finish it and then move on and realize, well, that idea we could put aside or need to change desperately, and let's try something else. You're going to fail a lot, is my point.
See, but you know what? That's just reframing failure. And I say this all the time, right? At least you tried, you put it out there, whatever, all that positive talk. But I think even hearing these stories, it's like, okay, it's good to know that you have the confidence to know that even when it's bad, you're going to finish it. Because, no, but you know what I mean? Because there's people that would just say, even if you're on a film set, they would say, okay, cut, this is bad. No, you finish it. And then with film, you could maybe do it again. But you just have to have in that mindset, okay, we're going to get through it. And then we'll figure it out after we get through it. And I think that's really hard, because I know there are times when I would start something and go, dear God, this is going nowhere. It's painful. I hate it. But then sometimes you finish it and you go, oh, that was a nice little twist at the end. And then you can take something from it, which is kind of magical.
Yes, 100%. And you fail all the time being on stage, trying out ideas at Second City and stuff. There's just horrible things. I'm trying, and even it's amazing sometimes you do something and it works once, and you're like, amazing. And then you can never recapture that. It's like that, partially because it's so improvised at Second City. There are things that work in that improv magic moment that you can never, ever recreate. I remember we did, this was years ago when I was on Mainstage, and we did a scene, I can't remember how, I think it was an improv scene. I don't think anybody came up with this premise. It just happened in an improv set where one of the actors, Marty Adams, who's one of the funniest people I've ever met, was playing like a Quasimodo type character, and another guy was playing a preacher. It started with a preacher doing. Reed Janice was playing a preacher doing some kind of.
Oh, Reed, yeah.
You know Reed, yeah.
Yes.
He was doing a church sermon of some kind, anyways. And then Marty started playing kind of a Quasimodo church bell ringer and started ringing the bells. And then Matt Reed, our musical director, was playing bell chimes. Anyways, it turned into, completely organically, a name that tune with the bell ringer. So Marty would pull the mime bell, and Matt Reed on the keyboards would go bing, bong, bing. And the rest of us were playing like choir members who tried to guess what song it was. And Matt would be playing like the first intro notes of like AC/DC Back in Black on like bell, and we'd try to figure it out. And then we would get the audience involved. And anyways, it happened organically one night, and it was like the funniest thing in the world, and we loved it, and blah, blah, blah. So we tried that scene again at least like 10 times with an audience, and it just sucked hard every time. Nobody was having any fun except us trying to guess the songs. And we could never make it work. But damn it, we kept trying it. It's over and over. And there's been many scenes like that where it's like, this works, let's keep doing it. But then quickly realizing, no, it was just random magic one night.
Who decides to actually cut it? Is this a group vote, or is this the director veto power?
It's mostly the director who finally says, well, we've done all we can. I mean, the actors, you know, if there's a scene you believe in that the director wants to cut, you might fight for it or desperately try some new things. But usually when a scene gets cut, well, there's some exceptions, but when a scene is clearly not working, the actors are as much ready to cut it as the director is. The tougher part comes as the director when you've got too much material and you're like, we've got to cut something, and then you're cutting something that isn't necessarily bad, you're just cutting it because you got too much stuff. And then that's when the actors can get very sensitive about their material. That's when the tears start to come. I don't think I've ever gone through a Second City creation process where there hasn't been at least one somebody bursting into tears at some point, including myself probably at some point. But if there's no tears shed, it's not a real process.
It just means you were so passionate about it. I get it.
Exactly.
You're just very invested, and you're like, this is my artistry, and yeah. I don't know. Okay. Lame. Okay. You're crying. Boo. Okay.
No. You have to cry. You know, it does mean you're invested. And the Second City process especially is incredibly stressful because it's like, it's like 8 to 10 weeks, like, well, you're there 6 nights a week, but you're thinking about it 24/7 pretty much. And it's just a constant, it's a constant up roller coaster for your ego. One night it'll be like, oh my God, this is great. Everything's going great. The next night things suck. And you're like, I'm horrible. I don't know what I'm doing. It's a constant fight.
Well, it's hard, especially when you were talking about doing those scenes over and over that you know aren't really resonating with the audience, and you go, we have to do this scene that is probably going to epically fail. God, I don't want to do this scene, so I can imagine. Ugh.
Oh yeah, that part of it, exactly. And then at the same time, you're like, well, I'm desperately trying to come up with a newer, better idea to try instead, or whatever it is. It's all about just throwing ideas out there and knowing that the majority will fail, but you'll hit on some that succeed, and that's where the joy comes in.
I love it. Do you remember your audition to get into the Second City Mainstage?
Yes. Well, I mean, I auditioned. Okay, my journey to get to Second City Mainstage was a long and strange one because they didn't want me for years and years, to the point where I finally was like, fine, fuck you, I don't need you. And then they came back and they eventually wanted me years later because I auditioned for them. Oh, I don't know, a bunch of times, because they have yearly general auditions, and I was in the system, and I had done conservatory, and then was performing in the community, so I auditioned at least 5, 6, 7 times. Never really got anything, and so finally I said, I'm not auditioning anymore. I'm done. I think the last audition, what was the final straw, was like I was auditioning with people I had taught, or even was, students and things. I was like, not that I'm better than them or anything like that, but it's like, if they don't want me by now, if they don't want me by now, then what's the point? Like I was just like, okay, done, whatever.
Wait, so you were still teaching at Second City while auditioning for Mainstage?
Oh yeah. I started teaching before getting hired by them for performing. Yeah. And then,
I thought every teacher was on the Mainstage.
Nope, you'd think that.
Huh.
I mean, I was just not in that order. But most of them are, for sure. But there's some that for whatever reason, and I'm not knocking those teachers at all. There's some that,
No, I'm trying to wrap my head. They think you're good enough to teach, but not good enough to be on stage at that point.
Yeah.
I find this very interesting. Okay,
you could look at it that way, I suppose.
Look, I'm just curious. Okay, not causing anything, just having a discussion. Okay.
No, that's perfectly valid. So for me, yeah, I was still teaching, and then I was performing in the improv and sketch community and doing my own thing and performing with troops and just pursuing all that stuff. And then literally it was almost 10 years, well, 8 years anyways, after my last audition, they were looking, speaking of Jim Annan, who is the Manulife spokesman at the moment, he was leaving the main stage, and I guess they were looking for somebody to take his spot, and they didn't feel they had anybody suitable that was quite ready in the system. So they came to see a show I was doing. They weren't even coming to see me per se. They were coming to see one of my fellow troupe mates who had asked them to come, and then they asked me to come in and audition. They didn't ask me to come into the first auditions. They said, come into the callbacks and audition. And I was like, okay. I was like, what? You don't want me. You've clearly shown that. And what are you going to offer me? Like, I don't know. Nothing's going to come of this. So I went in an audition. And I do remember this was purely coincidental. But so at the auditions, you do two things. You do some improv there's a group of you. There's like 8 or 10 people they're auditioning together. So you do an improv set with a group in front of the panel. Like a montage, a long form set. And then you're given an archive scene from Second City days long ago to perform. So they see you do some scripted stuff and then some improv. So for the improv set, I remember this. The suggestion we were given was, I believe, law school. So I jumped out and I started off as somebody studying to get into law school. And one of the first lines I said was, oh man, they have to take me this time. And not even thinking at all in my head about how it related to this situation, because this is the 15th time I've auditioned for Second City. But the panel all laughed, and it suddenly struck me, it's like, oh, they think I'm literally saying this about this situation. But that was, so I inadvertently commented on the reality of the situation. So I remember that for sure. And I remember having a really fun improv set. I think part of the reason I did so well was because and this is, any actor knows this, because I didn't give a shit. Because I was like, Second City doesn't want me. Not even sure I want them at this point. So I don't even know why I'm here, but I'll have fun. And I did a great improv set. And then the archive scene, I was playing a Stephen Colbert part from Second City Chicago many years ago, one of his scenes. That it isn't really a particularly funny scene if you look at it. It's about two brothers playing basketball together, and Stephen Colbert, who I was playing, was the older brother. And he's just giving his younger brother shit because his younger brother says he's going to drop out of school and do something crazy with his life or something. And it's just about this nice little relationship scene between these two brothers. But so I did that scene, and I remember, because they're playing basketball, so there's all this physical element of they're shooting hoops. It's all mime. But I just remember I was having so much fun doing Like I was standing there just pretending to spin the basketball on my finger and doing all these Harlem Globetrotter moves and all these things with the basketball. So that's what I remember most about my audition. So that's my tip for actors, is just don't give a shit and practice.
How do you mime that? The mime work is a struggle for me.
Well, no, you're doing fine. I mean, I would go a little faster. You have to like get the ball moving fast.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. I like the slow-mo. I'm picturing this is a ball.
That's pretty much it. You just hold your finger up and you spin. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This is, again, you're the supportive teacher of like, dear God, Robyn, that was terrible, but you made a choice and I'm going to support that.
Yeah, you are the slowest spinning basketball person ever.
I don't want to brag, but I've got the best balancing in the world. So I can go as slow as I want and it's still there. It's still doing its thing.
I just picture that you've got like a hole in the bottom of the ball, so you just jam it on your finger and it's just like sitting there.
I'm that person, that magician, right? That it's like, look at all these cool tricks I can do.
It's an illusion.
Is there even? It's floating. It's floating. It's flying and it's gone. And I threw it across the street. Done. Okay.
But see, I'm a way better mime athlete than I am an actual athlete. Like I can't spin a basketball in real life, but give me a mime basketball and I can do wonders with it.
Well, look, I wasn't very convinced that was a basketball either. I'm just saying. I love miming because it's so awkward.
It really is.
It's just utterly ridiculous sometimes, where you go, okay, I'll establish whatever and this is it. And I also realize I don't move like normal people. So for me, like drinking coffee is a little different. Like, I don't know, I hold it like this. This is coffee. It looks like I'm drinking alcohol sometimes. Like maybe I should do the pinky.
Well, that
I don't know.
Doesn't look like coffee. That's like you're a British,
little tea, governor. Like it's weird. So.
What was that? What was your British accent?
I said little tea, governor.
A little tea, governor. Spot of tea. Yeah, a cuppa. I watch Coronation Street. That's where I get all my English references from.
Anytime I want to do an Australian accent, it sounds British.
Oh,
and then anytime I want to do a Cockney accent, it sounds Australian. So I always have to think and then do the opposite accent.
I think they all slip into kind of Cockney for me. Yeah, if I try to do Australian, yeah, they all slip into Cockney.
It's always Cockney. I'm like, oh, I guess I can do Cockney if I think it's Australian.
Exactly.
There we go.
I think it's
but I don't know how to write that on a resume. It's like Cockney if you tell her to do Australian.
You don't have to say that part. That can all just be internal.
Oh no, I know. That was a pure joke. Do you have any like random special skills on your resume that people should know about?
Probably, although I haven't updated it in years. No, I mean, I think I have things on there like of course I can drive a car, I can ride a bike, I can swim, I can juggle, but well, I used to be able. Is
it miming? Is it miming?
Mime juggling. I can do I'm doing chainsaws and bowling balls right now, but I can juggle 3 balls. At least I could last time I tried, which was probably 5 years ago. But
still on the resume.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing that's on there, or that used to be, I used to be a croupier, which is a fancy word for blackjack dealer. Or a casino dealer.
Oh.
So I could do like high-speed blackjack dealing, but I don't know that I could even do that anymore.
Kerry, you have to brush up on that because I can see you getting those roles of like doing the underground poker ring. Like, yeah. Let's go. It's going to take you for all you're worth.
Exactly.
These are the new roles for you where you go, yeah, bring it on. Let's go. Okay.
No, but
I don't really know how to play that. I have the eyes like.
That's pretty good. But with blackjack,
Shifty eye.
You can't touch the cards. Like that's the biggest thing. If you're like, it's all that we would have to constantly tell people, don't touch the cards, don't touch the cards, because we'd have to touch the cards.
Oh yeah, you can't touch the cards.
Because you're not playing each other. You don't have to hide your cards in blackjack, because you're just playing against the dealer.
Right.
I know this is very exciting.
No, you're right. I again, this is clearly Robyn the gambler. Okay, like.
But if you're playing poker, yes, you would hide your cards. But
I just like hiding my cards. Okay.
Exactly.
No sharing.
You got to keep them close to your chest.
Why did you decide to learn that skill?
Because I needed a job. This was back when I was first taking improv classes. and I had left school, and I was like, well, I need to make some money to survive and all that stuff. So that was one of the many odd jobs I had. So this was so long ago, it was before the days when they had actual permanent casinos in Ontario. It was before the days of Niagara Casino and Rama. So this was in like the mid 90s, I want to say. And they had charity casinos that, so they were temporary, would be in like banquet halls or various places, and they could stay there for 3 days. And they just had to give a percentage of their take to a charity. And then they would move to somewhere else for the next week for 3 days and move all around. And so I got hired by one of those companies. I had to do a training course to learn to be a blackjack dealer that was out of this guy's, it was kind of sketchy. It was this young guy who had like a studio apartment somewhere downtown, and he built all these blackjack tables and had them set up in his studio, and you came in and he taught you how to deal blackjack, and you paid him whatever it was that you paid him. It felt kind of sketchy, but it taught me enough to get a job with a company that ran the charity casinos, and so I did that for like a couple of years.
It's just, I'm picturing, you know, those scenes where they go, you want to be a star, right? And then you're just like, you want to be a blackjack dealer?
Yeah.
There you go. Here's my, and then he like comes behind you when he does that ghost scene.
Exactly, and then I had to slowly, he's like, yeah, just unbutton your shirt. I had to like stand there and cry like from fame, just unbuttoning my shirt.
I need the job. Oh my God. That's funny. Well, you got the job, so.
I did get the job. I must have done something right. Yeah, oh yeah. I've had a myriad of strange, random jobs. Doing that, I was a mascot. That was my first showbiz job. Was dressing up as first I was. Sonic.
No one knows.
What's that?
No one knows it's you.
No, they didn't. It was very anonymous. But I was Sonic the Hedgehog for Sega video games for like a couple of years, and that's the only time I've ever been mobbed for autographs. Was when I was dressed as Sonic the Hedgehog, and I was at Olympic Stadium in Montreal for an Expos game. That's how old it was too. The Montreal Expos were still around, and Sega had this big like kids video game day or something. So they had set up video games on the field before the game for kids, and so my handler, I got dressed in this costume.
Oh my God! Sorry, it's just your handler and
my handler. Yeah, my people. I've never had a handler or anything as me, Kerry, but as Sonic the Hedgehog, I had a handler. So they led me out onto the field, and immediately I was just swarmed by hundreds, if not thousands of kids, all screaming because it was Montreal, so most of them were French. They were all like, Sonic, l'autographe, Sonic, photo, Sonic, Sonic. And I stood there for 2 hours signing autographs with these big, like, mascot, Mickey Mouse gloves on and a Sharpie that I could only, like, grip like a fist and trying to sign Sonic. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. And then Did
you come up with your own insignia, or was there one you had to follow?
No, I was just happy if I could write anything remotely coherent that looked like Sonic, because it was so hard to actually write. And the weirdest part too was like, talk about your ego, because I'm dressed as Sonic, just kids throwing themselves at me and yelling and screaming and buying for autographs. And then eventually it's done, and I go take the costume off, and I walk back out to whatever, get a drink or something, and I'm walking through the crowd as myself, and you literally are feeling like, why isn't anybody looking at me and coming up and going, we love you, and it's like, because I'm just me now, I'm not Sonic. It's so heartbreaking to take off that costume and have to go back.
But at least you have the escape. If it's a little too much fame, you can walk away.
True.
Right?
Yes, true.
Did your head ever fall off? Oh, sorry, mascot head ever fall off? Man. I'm always worried for the kids.
It was close. No, the Sonic the costume was the least aerodynamic costume ever. It was a giant. Head that weighed like 20 pounds, and then a big foam body, and then just my own legs in tights. And I was even skinnier then than I am now. So it was these like scrawny little legs. But it was so top heavy because this thing's on your head that weighs. So if you try to run, it would be like, oh, this head falling all over. So I never had the head fall off, but I did get, occasionally you get abused by kids. I remember I think I was at a video game store opening, And I'm standing there, and these kids, and there was this little kid, I don't know, couldn't have been more than 6 years old, and he just kept like punching me in the gut or in the side, right? He was like, "Meh, meh, meh," and it wasn't super painful, but it was getting really annoying. And as Sonic, you're not supposed to speak or anything, so I'm just like kind of trying to manhandle him. And then he at one point he like,
where was your handler?
That's a great question. My handler was nowhere to be seen at that point. I don't know where my handler was. They left me alone.
Classic non-union gigs.
Exactly. At one point, the kid like charged at me. Like he stood back like 5 or 6 steps and then ran like a bull and like came into me like head first into my gut. And I kind of like grabbed him by the shoulders and I shoved him because I was like so fed up. And I didn't think I shoved him very hard, but I shoved him and the kid like flew through the air like 5 feet and landed on his butt. And his mom is standing right there. And I'm immediately thinking, oh shit, there's lawsuits now. Sonic the Hedgehog is going to get arrested for assaulting a child. But so I looked, towards the mother, and the mother was just laughed and said, "Oh, Sonic got you there, Billy," and like laughed at her kid getting thrown across the room.
Well, the mom was there the whole time watching her
Yep.
son beat you up. Like, look, okay, I'm not a parent, but I do want to say that's a little, I question the parenting there. Like, it's okay to beat up a person.
Absolutely. No, parents would do nothing. They would just stand by and because they're like, oh, the kid's having fun and abusing this poor human. People would forget there was a human in there. One time I had teenagers like run up behind me and whack the head. Like I don't even know what they hit me with.
Oh.
I mean, it didn't hurt because the head is so huge and heavy, but it was like.
But I feel like it would be a whiplash.
There was a bit of a
sensation
whiplash for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, you took some abuse, that's for sure.
So I guess you left the mascot game and never.
Oh yeah, and now I still have not achieved that level of fame as myself, but.
I really want to make a Sure Health mascot of just your face, but again, 20-pound face and just have.
Face?
Yeah.
But then would I wear it, or does somebody else have to wear it?
No, someone else has to wear it.
Oh.
No, you don't wear. You're not. No, you don't wear your own face. You're the handler. So then it's kind of like, wait, whose autograph do we get? The mascot, or it'll be really, really fun and confusing. These are ideas. I have no idea how to get a mascot head made, but I'm throwing it out there. If Sure Health is watching, let's get this done.
I can pitch it to the Sure Health people. Let's see what.
Well, I've seen this commercial on for what, like at least 2 years now.
Oh, it's been 5 years, I think, that I've been.
Oh, whoa!
And I've shot a different commercial every year. The commercials are very similar, but you will notice a different blazer, a different shirt on me, perhaps. But yes, it's been yeah.
Do you know the words verbatim?
Well,
I'm not going to make you do it. I'm just curious because there are certain ones
because it's often been very similar. But this isn't even the most recent one, but this was a lot of it because it changed slightly. But it's the cost of things not covered by a provincial healthcare plan keeps going up. Physiotherapy, healthcare, physiotherapy, prescription eyewear, dentistry, everything up. Anyways.
I felt dentistry. I'm like, dentistry has to be in there. They throw that in, throw in the glasses. The physio, I was honored. I'm like, good. They know physio is important. Thank you.
Exactly. And it's covered.
I appreciated that. It is covered with Sure Health. Okay. Yeah. Again, it's even the way I'm like, oh, I love how because how do you choose? Do you map out the words when you get this? I'm serious. Like because there is a voice acting component. So do you go, okay, this will be the inflection on this word, or do you just kind of say it and see what happens?
I more say it and see what happens. I mean, I think certainly if I'm sitting there with the script, reading it over and over in my head, I'll try different inflections and try to feel what makes it flow best. But then I do try to just make it whatever comes out naturally. Whatever comes out naturally is usually better than me over planning it and trying to think on each word. And then,
again, it's just the kind of seeing what happens, not overthinking it. That's what's getting me far.
Exactly. And then inevitably, like the client or the directors will always be like, oh, we need you to say it again and really emphasize physiotherapy this time, or whatever word it is. So that's really more where the changes come, is they want to emphasize this or whatever.
Do you memorize that whole block of dialogue?
For sure
Or
help.
is
No,
it a
that's all.
Oh, see, and here I
That's all
thought you
teleprompter.
memorized it, and I was very impressed, Kerry. Okay.
No, that's
I'm like, how is he okay?
I
Because
memorized
it's
it.
so, it's a lot. It's a lot of words, and I thought, oh
It is.
God, is this the level? I have to know this much? It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of words. Okay.
I remember I did have to memorize it for the initial audition that I got, so that was probably the most memorizing. But then, yes, it's always been teleprompted, thankfully, because it would take so much longer if I had to memorize every single.
Well, it's also the specific one. It's not, you don't want to get what they wrote the script out, they worked on it, the client approved it. So I think even one word switch would be kind of frustrating.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's not like dialogue in a movie or TV show is usually a little more easygoing. If you add in an or an or a the, it just sounds natural as a character. But yes, when you're doing a commercial read like that, you have to get it precise. Because they've got every word tested in the.
Were the people that are doing, like, that your friend is doing Man Life, did they compete with you for Sure Health? Like, were you the first person of your friends to be, haha, I'm an insurance guy. Hello.
I guess so. I've never had, I don't know if I've ever had that discussion with anybody over fighting over who's, although with Jim Annan, in that case, we certainly go up against each other for those kind of spokesperson roles a lot in commercials. I think he works a lot more than me, so I'll take whatever I can get. But,
take the leftovers. Okay.
I'll take the leftovers. Yeah.
You're the other guy. I don't know. I see you. Well, now I'm gonna look for other people. If I'm like, I don't know. I see you, and I'm like, yeah, Kerry's in everything.
Yeah, I'm really only in that one thing right now. But yes, I think they just play it so much that it feels like I'm in everything.
It's on every channel I watch. It's on the Food Network. It's on the news channel. It's on whatever other channel that my husband puts on. I'm like, how is he everywhere? So that's why I think. But then I guess I'm just watching the old people shows apparently.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's fascinating. Okay, I have your resume here, so I want to make sure I hit every question that I had, because I thought you were. No, I did. I thought, oh yeah, I really like the name Barack to the Future because I'm a Back to the Future nerd. So that's just a sidebar of me really enjoying the review. I don't know who chose that name, but I appreciate it. That's the only other thing I wanted to say.
I can't remember. I was going to say Reed Janice might have come up with that title because he was in the cast.
Reed.
And the weird part was that show, it had some stuff to do with Barack, but because that was right when Barack Obama got elected. But we tried to inject some actual Back to the Future stuff into it, but it never. We were going to have Marty and Doc time traveling to do things, but no, that never came about.
Well, then I don't know if I appreciate the title as much anymore.
Enough.
You ruined it for me. I literally chuckled. It's a rarity that I read something over. But Rock to the Future. The one other. Okay, so here's one other question. In terms of, because again, your resume is very extensive, and I put it where people could read it, but I'm like, dear God, you've been on so much. Is there a favorite project that you've had?
That's a good question. I mean, the simple answer would be something like Schitt's Creek, just because it's such a great show, and
that's fair.
Working with those people. I'm trying to.
Okay, here, I'll read your resume, and you tell me if you like one more than the other. I have the Baroness Von Sketch Show.
Oh, that's a good one too. Come on. That's a good one too.
Okay, I thought that again, and I was wondering, what were you? Because I watched it all. I'm like, where were you in that one? And why didn't I message you?
I was pretty quick. I was in two sketches. One of them I barely spoke and may have even been off camera for most of it, so I don't know if you'd seen me. The other one, I was a husband of Aurora Brown, and it was two couples getting ready to go to dinner together or have dinner together, and they were discussing what topics it was safe to talk about. So we were going through a big checklist of we can't bring up politics because they had this sign on their lawn. We can't bring up this, So it was really just one sketch that you would have seen me in. I think it was season 5. I can't remember. But it was very fun to do because I'm a big fan of all those ladies, and I've worked with them a bunch at Second City and stuff. So that was very cool.
That's a funny scene too, because I as you're saying, I'm like, I have this discussion back in the day of dinner parties. I'm like, I used to say that to my husband all the time. Here's what we can't talk about.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dear God, what are we left with? But that's very funny. I have to rewatch that now. I'll find you. Maybe, you know what? Again, it could have been like, I know his face. Why do I know him?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Until maybe I had watched it and you hadn't taught me yet. So
that might be true. I think it came out before I taught you, maybe. Yeah.
There you go. Well, that was inconsiderate of you because then I could have also brought that up organically, but I had to go to my paper. Rude. Oh, yeah, you've done a lot. I love that you did, this is weird, but I love that you did covert affairs. And I say that because I know when I watched it, I know they were filming in different parts of Yorkville and they made it look like Zurich. And that was such an odd highlight for me of, I know you filmed in Toronto, okay? I know this isn't what you're saying it is. And that was what I loved about the show.
That's funny.
It was fine. It was fine. It wasn't a bad show, but
no.
I'm just like, oh, covert affairs, cool.
That was a fun one. That was one of the first ones where I was cast as an asshole. I was like a corporate guy at a board meeting with all the, I can't even remember what the setup was. I can't remember who they worked for, the covert affairs people, or what the setup was.
I don't remember the names. I watched it ages ago.
They were some government agency or something, and I was somebody telling the main characters. I was just pushing back on whatever they were trying to do. And then I also, there was, I can't remember the young woman who was one of the leads, whose name escapes me now.
All I remember is Piper. That's
Piper.
Name.
Piper.
Oh, okay.
So she was sitting beside me, and there was, at one part, I was supposed to ask for coffee, and I just thought, I'm going to turn to her. Like, I just made the choice to be like, she was somebody important in this board meeting, but I was being the asshole going like, oh, you're a young woman, just get me some coffee. So I said it right to her, and everybody laughed at that. They were like, oh, that's great, you should say it to her. And I was like, perfect. So that was fun. Again, I really had to embrace being the asshole.
That's a good choice. Do you ever worry that the scenes, like, you know, when you get a one scene, do you ever worry that it's going to get cut out so you kind of don't tell anyone about it until you actually see it?
100%. I've been cut out.
Okay.
For sure. There are probably some things on my resume I've been cut out of, but I've still put them on there.
Oh, that's fair. Degrassi Next Generation, not the first one.
No. That one I was barely in, but I was in for one little, I think I had 2 lines. It was like one of the mom's boyfriends or something.
See, now I'm kind of ruining your resume. Like, oh, he's just the 1-2 liner. Boo.
That 90% of my resume is 1 or 2. I'm a Canadian actor. That's it's rare to get more than one little scene.
I mean, look, Murdoch Mysteries, you're Canadian and you've made it in the biz when you're on Murdoch. Okay, that's like, you're an actor. We've accepted you. Welcome to Murdoch Mysteries.
Yeah.
I'm not bashing them. I'm legit. They're still going on for like 16, 17 seasons. Yeah. I'm like, hey, cool. If I ever get a role in Murdoch, I'll be like, yes, I am a Canadian actor. I am on Murdoch.
That's 100%. Once you're there, then you know you made it. And that one was more than one scene. I had like 2 or 3 scenes over the episode as this snake oil salesman, basically. Like selling medical gadgets.
I know. I'm just picturing like, how do they get the oil from the snake? Is it the skin? That's like, do they wring out the snake?
I think you have to boil them, and then the oil rises to the top.
Well, you are the salesman, so you would know. Okay. I don't know. I find everything that you've done, like even Designated Survivor, I'm like, that was a Kiefer classic. That's cool.
Yes, that one again. Oh yeah. So apart from assholes, I also went through a newscaster phase where it was like always being cast as a newsreader. So I was not quite a newsreader. I was more like a Fox and Friends co-host on that. So it was like a morning show, political show, and me and the co-host were just shitting on Kiefer Sutherland for something he'd done that got caught on camera or something. So again,
but that's
an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get.
See, I think unlike with real newsrooms, I feel like there's no teleprompter for those lines.
Correct. No teleprompter there. That was just I just channeled my own inner asshole to and my feelings on Kiefer Sutherland to bring those out.
I'm just so impressed with you. I'm not going to read the rest of the resume because you won 10 Canadian Comedy Awards. I don't even know it. What does that mean?
I'm
like, what?
The highest accolade one can achieve in Canadian comedy.
Is it called Canadian Comedy Award?
The Canadian Comedy Awards, yes. Why have
I not heard of these? It's embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, it is embarrassing. It's because they're so huge. You know, they're like the Academy Awards or the Golden Globes. The Canadian Comedy Awards are awards given for Canadian comedy. They still, they disappeared a couple of years ago because the the organizers were out of money, and I don't know, they lost their funding, and et cetera, et cetera. But they came back last year, at least an online version, I believe. No, they were a fairly big thing, Canadian Comedy Awards, where they would give awards for TV and web series and live stuff, sketch, improv, stand-up, and all that stuff. I've been part of 10. I won a couple individually as the best male improviser.
Did you say a speech?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
You thank the Academy. What's the award look like?
They change every year. The one I got, one of them is like a maple leaf, a crystal maple leaf kind of. They were called the Beavers at one point. The beaver goes to. And then another one I have is just like a round plaque. So they change every year, the look. But
then it looks like you've won so many different awards, right? It's not just...
That's true.
Here are my Oscars. It's, look at all these different shapes and sizes. I've won everything.
Exactly. But I won a couple times for Best Improviser, then as parts of troupes, like Slap Happy, my original improv troupe, we won Best Improv Troupe a few times, and then Monkey Toast Show won one. And then Second City won a bunch that I was involved with for Best Show or Best Ensemble and things like that.
That's awesome. But then, okay, as improvisers, do you have to improvise your speech? Because that's expected.
It's not, it's not the law. I think you
feels like it should be.
Well,
if you're winning for best improviser, you should expect the unexpected, get up there,
improvise
to your speech.
That's fair enough. I think I did. I don't think I had anything particularly planned to speak. So, I thanked those important people and thanked my mother, and that was it.
Well, at least you remember. I honestly, this is a weird fear. I don't know what award, but if I ever win an award, I worry that I'm going to forget everyone that I have to thank.
Oh, yeah.
Like the key people, and I legitimately, even when I win fake awards that, it's like, oh, you win an award for whatever. I always forget to thank my husband, and he's standing there, like literally standing there. I'm like, I was looking at you. And then I left, and, you finish and you go, oh my God. So I just feel like if I ever go to an award ceremony, I'm writing it on my hand, husband.
Right.
Just like, that's what and then it'll be, this is because I don't want to forget.
You can just hold your hand up then, and you don't even have to talk.
Yeah, this is what I want to thank. If the camera can zoom in, awesome, and scene.
See, one of my favorite award show speeches was Hugh Laurie. I think it was when he won for House years ago, like an Emmy or something, or Golden Globe. And he went up and he talked about that. He said something to the effect of, there's so many people I want to thank, and I'm worried I'm going to forget everybody. So I'm not going to thank everybody. I'm only going to thank one person. I put everybody's names that I would want to thank into my pocket. I'm going to randomly pick one, and that's the person I'm going to thank and talk about. I'm sure this was all set up, but he picked it out, and it was like his housekeeper or something. So he just spent like 3 minutes thanking his lovely housekeeper. But it was such a great setup, so that you kind of acknowledge there's too many people to thank. So now you're going to thank.
You say that, but I don't know if he's married. If I was his wife, I'd be angry. Excuse me, all the lines we ran, all the time I've given up just to support you, and you thank the housekeeper? I wouldn't want to be in that.
That's the only reason I'm not married, because I can't handle the pressure of remembering that I'm a award show, right? It's just, why have that looming over?
Well, have you thanked your cat? I'm sure we have. Just sitting there like, when's he going to thank me? I'm waiting.
When's it going to come? I thank him every day by feeding him.
It's my cat work.
Cleaning up his poop. If that's not thanks enough, then there's nobody else I do that for.
Well, that's good. It'd be weird just offer to do that for someone else. It's a service I offer. Oh, that's going to get really weird really quickly. Oh my gosh, Kerry, I apologize. I have been aware of the time, but then I get sucked into talking with you, and we've been speaking for over an hour.
Oh, that's okay.
Because I find everyone so fascinating, but I love your journey, and your resume is so extensive. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Any final words? I know final words sound so weird. If you want to thank the Academy,
I'd like to thank my cat for letting me clean up his poop. No, thank you for having me, Robyn. It's great, and you've been wonderful and supportive, and I'm impressed when anybody is impressed with me. So I'm happy to take those accolades. I look at my resume and go like, oh, there should be more there. Oh, that part was so small. But I have done a lot of cool stuff, so I'm excited by that. Yeah.
You have. I think Sonic the Hedgehog was probably the highlight for you. Like, I don't know if it gets any better than that. So you got to take the one-liner.
I don't know that it
right?
has. And
you started your career way too high.
Exactly.
The bar is set way too high. There's nowhere to go but down.
No,
so I guess, yeah, okay. You got your insurance. You got the one-liners, whatever. Okay.
I am going to talk to the Green Shield people about the Sure Health people about creating a mascot of me.
It should happen, and when it does, I'll only take 5%. That's how generous I am.
Okay, that's perfectly fair. That's perfect.
That or a cardboard cutout. I also selfishly want a cardboard cutout of myself. I don't know why. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but these are just thoughts that I have of like, that could be cool.
I would like that too. I've never had a cardboard cutout of myself. There's never been a reason to, but maybe I'll just get one. 5
years doing this commercial. I mean,
it seems
you're the face. You're the face.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know what they're going to have to do? This is my final thought, I promise. So you know how they recast the Philly Angel? They're going to have to recast Sure Health.
Sure.
And you're going to be involved in that, like a little mini Kerry. Or maybe they'll go with a girl. Or maybe just someone completely different. Whatever they identify
Why
as.
are you already talking about them recasting me? Why can't I keep doing it?
Oh, you got at least five more years with them.
Okay.
You're still going to... You haven't changed your headshot in 9 years. You're good. Like this is your face. You are not changing.
Yeah. Okay.
But when you're like, you know what, guys, 5 years, I got to pass the torch while I'm still young and just watch this up and comer grow. I think they'll cast like someone. Oh, the problem is you need someone at least their 40s.
Sure.
Because you need someone that needs insurance.
Exactly.
So I don't know if they can go with a little spry 20-year-old fresh out of school, eager, because they're not buying insurance.
No.
Oh, this is interesting.
We need someone.
Okay, we won't share this with Sure Health, but these are just my thoughts going forward. I'm going to be on the lookout for like a little mini Kerry on the rise. Be like, Kerry, I found them. 5 years. 5 years, reach out.
Yeah, they'll need 5 years.
Be like, Robyn, I don't remember this discussion at all. This is very weird, but please block accordingly. And then I'm very funny in my head. So that was fun. But thank you again. Yes, I will end because I like to ramble. Thank you so much for doing this, Kerry. Lovely hearing the stories. And thank you everyone for watching. I think Kerry is awesome, but other people do too. So there you go.
Robyn, thank you everybody for watching. Somebody says they really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Yeah, that's Kev. Thanks for watching. Very supportive.
That is awesome.
All right, I'm going to do an awkward wave because I never know how to end this.
I know, eh?
Bye.
Bye.
That's basketball spin. That's how I'm going to end today.
Bye with the basketball spin.
Yeah. Bye, Kerry.
Bye.